Hi, I'm Taylor Ward, and this is Phase 5. After much revision, my complex question that I contemplated over the course of the semester is, how does parental influence affect their child's spiritual identity and activism within the community? Hey Lulu, how does your parental influence affect your spiritual identity and activism within the community?
Okay, so my mom raised me as a Roman Catholic, and so that was the situation I grew up in. And then when I turned like 12 or 13, I started questioning that faith and how I fit into it. I began doing my reading outside of Sunday school or her beliefs, and I just kind of found over time that the ideas didn't resonate with me so much, and we got into a lot of fights and arguments over it. She tried to drag me to church and I'd really be resistant. So when I'd say I was about 14 or 15, I officially decided that religion wasn't for me. So now I consider myself an atheist. When it comes to activism in the community, because I am not spiritual, my activism tends to be political, which is what I study, or environmental, which is just a cause that is close to my heart. So that's me.
And what quote resonates with you the most?
I'd have to say Acts of Faith on page 11, the quote, "A vague sense of being Muslim from my mother without any real grounding in how that was relevant or useful to my life," is most similar to my circumstance. Obviously, relationship with my mother, how my own interpretations of religion affect my life, the only difference being Muslim versus Christianity.
Hey Kaylor, how does your parental influence affect your spiritual identity and activism within the community?
Yeah, so from a young age, I felt involved in the church and connected to my identity as a Christian because my parents would take me to Sunday school, they would help me do volunteer opportunities with the church, and then they also encouraged me to go to a camp that was through the United Methodist Church called Camp Toccoa as a young kid, and that really helped me to get grounded in my faith as a child and also see my parents as a role model in their own faith journeys. And so I think through the things that we did as a family, we would walk in the crop walk, we would go to Bible studies together, that really showed me how I can learn to grow my own faith through my parents' actions in their own lives. And I think that led me to, when I went to college, to continue that activism as a Christian in the community. And now I do my own things. For example, I volunteer at Firefly, which is an after-school program at a church. I still go to church services by myself, and I'm still active in Bible studies and things just because I think of that identity that my parents helped me to form as a young child.
And what statistic resonates with you the most?
One statistic that resonated with me was the researchers of Bucknell University found that religious communication has a mutual, bidirectional, and reciprocal quality, where conversations were marked by children's active participation and expression of their ideas and their parents' openness to those ideas. This statistic argues that religious communication functions in two directions, where the children initiate conversation about faith to their parents and vice versa. And this statistic really resonated with me because I can remember as a sixth grader going through confirmation that I would always come home with so many questions about the way that the Methodist Church worked and why we did things the way that we do them. And my parents were always really open to my questions, and we would always have really good conversations about my thoughts and their thoughts, and it was a really good way for me to form my faith as a child.
Through the lenses of statistics and sacred stories, and now the testimonies of my friends, I have concluded that a parent's influence does influence their child's spiritual journey, but does not directly correlate to activism in the community.